What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G.S. Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the June 27th, 2022 edition of Raw Talk, being hosted by Scott Stanford and Matt Camp. Jackie Redmond's still away for right now. I assume she'll be back soon. I loved Kevin Patrick hosting Talking Smack, or rather the SmackDown Lowdown, over the weekend. But he was on Raw duty this week. He was in the ring hosting interviews left and right this week, so no Kevin Patrick. But Scott Stanford and Matt Camp are still a fun duo. To start off the show, they replayed John Cena's promo from the middle of Raw, which was great, addressing the audience, albeit no one interrupted, but it's fine, still a very cool moment. Before recapping the main event that saw Becky Lynch qualify and win a 6-woman elimination match and earn her way into the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match this weekend, as well as Riddle's Battle Royal win at the beginning of the show that saw him earn his way into the Men's Money in the Bank ladder match this weekend. We hear backstage from Riddle, who says that Orton, he knows Orton is proud of him. And Cena, I guess, told the same thing to Riddle. He said that Orton would be proud of him as well. And he says he's headed to Vegas and compliments Sarah Schreiber on what she's wearing because it matches his nails and whatever. So kind of more of the same from Riddle here. The special guest analyst on this episode was Jerry Lawler. And I feel like we see the same faces all the time, but it's because they have these people on Talking Smack as well. So we probably just heard from Jerry a week or two ago, but it feels like it was yesterday because we see these people so often. But anyway, Lawler says that the primary goal of the men in the Men's Money in the Bank ladder match should be to take out Omos early. And Matt Camp also talks about everyone's motivations for wanting to win, blah, blah, blah. For the women's, Jerry Lawler picks Raquel Rodriguez to win. He had a lot of high praise for Raquel. I think not on the SmackDown Lowdown this week. I think it was last week. He had a lot of positive things to say about her, so he's picking her to win the whole thing. And he also remembers, in talking about John Cena, recalls a story in meeting John Cena for the first time, and that when he was still down in Memphis, he would be brought into OVW on occasion to work with all the new guys, Randy Orton, Batista, as well as John Cena. And he talked about that experience, and that was a cool story to share as well. From there, they recap Liv Morgan beating Alexa Bliss on Raw. Liv Morgan says in a backstage interview, acting very desperate and awkward. Morgan's actually improved on the mic in the last year or two, but I didn't think this was one of her better promos. I don't know if they told her to look desperate or if that's actually just how she is. I mean, I don't know. She was very awkward in this interview. But she said that she did what she said she was going to do in beating Alexa Bliss on Raw. Now she's going to do what she said she's going to do in winning the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match this weekend. She said that she needs this Money in the Bank briefcase, and she couldn't be more ready to win it this year compared to last year. And she feels, she thought she was ready last year, but everything happened for a reason, and she's ready to win it this year. And winning this briefcase would mean everything to her, which is what we hear from everyone. But it would mean everything to her, and she wants to give back to her fans, even though she feels like she doesn't always do that. She doesn't have a lot of things to give them, but she wants to give back, or, whatever. She feels like she doesn't always back up what she says and doesn't really give them a lot to cheer for, but they do anyway. So she wants to give back to them by winning the briefcase on Saturday. Like I said, good to hear like an elongated promo from Liv going into the pay-per-view. That's great. We should have heard more of this on Raw and not like the annoying Liv Morgan a week or two ago, or even on Raw this week, actually. I think we heard from her, but it wasn't as desperate as we heard her here. She came off a little heelish, actually, in that Raw interview. Here, not so much, but again, it was just fucking awkward, and it was not a bad promo, but I've heard her cut far better promos in the last year on Raw Talk and on Raw itself, so a weird promo from Liv Morgan here, although what she said was 100% spot on, and that she never really wins whenever it matters most. But winning this would be great for her, and I would love to see her win the whole thing. But I don't think she will. Matt Camp picks Asuka to win the match, actually, before they replay Cody Rhodes' promo from Raw. Matt Camp thinks that Cody Rhodes probably wants, without saying it on Raw, Matt Camp thinks that Cody wants Seth to win the Money in the Bank briefcase so he can come back, and hopefully after Seth cashes in successfully, in Matt Camp's words, that Rhodes could then go after Rollins to win the undisputed WWE Heavyweight Championship or Universal Championship, whatever. They recap the Montez Ford win over Jey Uso before we hear from the Profits backstage, who talk about beating the Bloodline and what it would mean. More of the same from the Profits, who are fun, but in their interviews on these shows, they really say a whole lot of nothing. It's just a lot of shenanigans for a few minutes, but I appreciate their energy nonetheless. Back in the studio, Jerry Lawler says that the Usos, come Money in the Bank, will be ready to take care of business. He's picking them to win the whole match, or not the whole match, to retain their undisputed WWE Tag Team titles against the Profits, and also picks Drew McIntyre to win the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. Matt Camp picks Sami Zayn to win, and I agree. I would love for Sami to win. I don't think he is. It's probably going to be Rollins, but I would love to see Sami win, though. And then to close out the show, they run down the full card for Money in the Bank on Saturday before promoting the bump on Wednesday, featuring Kurt Angle and JBL, two very familiar foes of John Cena's. And that was it. That was Raw Talk in a nutshell. Not a very great show. I like Scott Stanford, but the interviews were very ho-hum. The Liv Morgan one was weird. The Profits one was completely pointless, and the Riddle one was more of the same. So not exactly an eventful episode of Raw Talk this week. Raw was enjoyable, I thought, for the John Cena celebration. I thought that was very well done. It was a fun 3 hours for the most part and focusing on Cena. It won't be like that every week. It was a John Cena show for this week, with it being the exact 20-year anniversary of his Raw debut. But still, I enjoyed it for what it was. And again, that was Raw Talk for June 27, 2022. Thank you guys for checking out my review. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Coming up on Friday, today's Tuesday, but coming up on Friday, we should have an interview with the United States Champion Theory coming here to the channel ahead of Money in the Bank on Saturday, so keep an eye out for that. And I mentioned the Undertaker interview last week. That's coming up next week. It was supposed to drop today. We bumped it to next week to coincide with the return of Biography WWE Legends on A&E, so keep an eye and ear out for that here on the channel next week. Have a great one, guys. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.